What if I told you there's an electric car out there that looks like it belongs in a luxury showroom, drives like a dream, and costs less than a used Honda Civic? Yeah, I know, that sounds absolutely ridiculous. But here's the thing. It exists, and when you find out what they're charging for it, you're going to either laugh, cry, or immediately start Googling how to import one. Because what we're looking at here isn't just another electric vehicle. It's a complete disruption of everything we thought we knew about what cars should cost. Stick around, because what I'm about to show you might just change the way you think about your next car purchase forever. So let's talk about this thing. The vehicle in question is called the Firefly, and it comes from a Chinese automaker that's been making serious waves lately. Now, before you roll your eyes and think this is another knockoff situation, let me paint you a picture. This isn't some cheap imitation trying to ride coattails. This is a company that looked at what premium small cars like the Mini Cooper and Smart Chi are doing and said, you know what, we can do that better. And for way less money. The Firefly measures just over 4 meters long. It's compact, sure, but not cramped. The proportions are actually really clever. They've stretched the wheelbase to around 2.5 meters, which means the interior feels way more spacious than you'd expect from something this size. And visually, it's genuinely striking. Forget everything you think you know about budget cars looking cheap. This thing has tight overhangs, sharp lines running down the sides, and this really elegant roof that slopes just enough to look sporty without sacrificing headroom. But here's where it gets interesting. The designers decided to have some fun with the lighting. Picture this: triple circular halos at the front and back. When you see this car coming toward you at night, those glowing rings make it instantly recognizable. It's bold, it's playful, and honestly, it's kind of brilliant because in a sea of boring crossovers, this thing stands out without trying too hard. The sides of the car keep things minimal. Flush door handles that pop out when you need them. Clean lines that don't scream for attention but still look expensive. And the wheels? They've got these intricate spoke designs with two-tone finishes that you'd normally see on cars costing twice as much. Every detail feels intentional. Nothing looks like an afterthought. Around back, those circular halos show up again in the taillights, creating this cohesive design language that ties everything together. The overall vibe is modern, confident, and surprisingly upscale. Think of it like this. If a Mini Cooper and a BMW 1 Series had a baby, but that baby decided it wanted to be more fun and expressive than either parent, that's the Firefly. And here's something most people don't know. Over 80% of the body structure is made from high-strength steel and aluminum. That's not standard for budget vehicles. That's the kind of structural integrity you find in cars that cost significantly more. So yeah, this isn't just pretty to look at. It's built properly. Now let's get inside, because this is where things get really wild. You open the door, slide into the driver's seat, and immediately you're thinking, wait, what's the catch? Because sitting in the center of the dashboard is this gorgeous touchscreen display. Over 13 inches of crisp, high-resolution real estate with bezels so thin they almost disappear. The interface is clean, intuitive, and responsive. No lag, no frustration. Behind the steering wheel sits a smaller digital display showing you all the essentials. Speed, battery level, navigation prompts. Just enough information without overwhelming you, and the whole system boots up in about 2 seconds. You can be driving in under 7 seconds from a cold start. That's faster than most people can adjust their seat and mirrors. The way the interface is laid out is actually really smart. Top left corner handles your driving data and maps. Bottom left is where you control climate and vehicle settings. The right side of the screen is for entertainment and apps. But here's where it gets cool. You can control things with gestures. Swipe with 2 fingers on one side to adjust temperature. Swipe on the other side to change volume. It learns your patterns and responds instantly. And the ambient lighting system? 256 colors that react to what you're doing. Change the temperature and the lights shift from warm to cool tones. Adjust the music and they pulse with the beat. It's not some gimmicky feature that you'll turn off after a day. It actually enhances the experience and makes the cabin feel alive. Let's talk about comfort. Even the base model comes with heated front seats. The higher trims, ventilated seats with 10-way power adjustments, lumbar support, and even massage functions. The upholstery is this eco-friendly synthetic material that's resistant to stains and water, plus there's a microfiber option if you want to upgrade. Everything your hands touch regularly, the dashboard, door panels, armrests, uses quality materials that feel soft and premium. No hard, scratchy plastics in sight. Oh, and there's an optional fragrance diffuser, wireless phone charging, a massive panoramic sunroof that floods the cabin with light. And get this, a 14-speaker sound system with Dolby Atmos. In a compact car, your music sounds like you're sitting in a concert hall. It's genuinely impressive. The voice assistant is built right in. You can say things like, "Hey, set the temperature to 22 degrees, or play some jazz, or change the lighting to blue." Over 85% of the car's functions can be controlled by voice. And there's a smartphone app that lets you remotely start the climate control, check your battery level, and even lock or unlock the doors. All of this comes standard. Not as expensive add-ons. Standard. Storage is surprisingly clever, too. There's a decent-sized front trunk for bags and groceries. The rear cargo area offers plenty of space with the seats up, and when you fold them down, you're looking at enough room for camping gear or a serious shopping trip. There are even hidden compartments under the rear seats for smaller items. It's clear someone actually thought about how people use their cars in real life. Sitting in this vehicle, you keep waiting for the moment when you find the compromise. The place where they clearly cut costs to hit that price point. But it doesn't come. Instead, you're left wondering how this is even possible at the price they're asking. Now, can this thing actually handle your daily life? Can it carry your family, your groceries, your gym bag, and everything else you throw at it? Let's be realistic. It's designed to seat 5 people, but the back row is really better suited for 2 adults and a kid rather than 3 full-sized adults. For most situations, though, morning commutes, school runs, weekend errands, it works perfectly fine. The backseat legroom and headroom are actually pretty decent thanks to that longer wheelbase and taller roofline. You're not going to feel squished back there. The cargo space is genuinely impressive for a car this size. Fold down those rear seats and suddenly you've got as much room as many small crossovers, perfect for road trips or moving furniture. And the turning radius is really tight, just under 5 meters. That means navigating tight city streets and squeezing into parking spots is incredibly easy. Way less stressful than trying to park a full-size SUV. Compared to something like a Honda Civic hatchback, the Firefly might be a bit more compact in certain dimensions, but it uses vertical space really cleverly. It doesn't feel small inside. For young families, city dwellers, or anyone who doesn't need a massive 3-row vehicle, this makes perfect sense. If you're hauling a soccer team or need to tow a trailer regularly, then yeah, this probably isn't your car. But for most people, it's more than enough. Let's talk about what actually moves this thing down the road. Under the floor sits a single electric motor mounted at the rear wheels. Yep, it's rear-wheel drive, which is actually pretty rare in this price category. The motor puts out about 105 kilowatts, roughly equivalent to 140 horsepower, with around 200 newton-meters of torque. It'll sprint from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just over 8 seconds. That's not supercar fast, but it's plenty peppy for merging onto highways and zipping through traffic. Top speed sits around 150 kilometers per hour, which is about 93 miles per hour. More than enough for highway cruising. The power comes from a battery pack using lithium iron phosphate chemistry. It's about 42 kilowatt-hours in capacity. This type of battery is known for being safer and lasting longer than some other options out there. Range comes in at around 420 kilometers under ideal testing conditions, which translates to roughly 330 kilometers in mixed real-world driving. That's about 200 miles, give or take. Charging supports 100 kilowatt DC fast charging, meaning you can go from 10% to 80% in under 30 minutes under optimal conditions. That's coffee break time, not lunch break time. But here's where things get really interesting. This car supports battery swapping. You can actually buy the vehicle without a battery and just rent one monthly. That drops your upfront cost dramatically. And when your battery is low, instead of waiting for it to charge, you can pull into a swap station and get a fully charged battery installed in just a few minutes. It's like refueling a gas car, but electric. Now, that battery swap technology is fascinating. If the infrastructure exists where you live, it completely eliminates range anxiety. No more planning your route around charging stations or worrying about wait times. You just swap and go. The potential here is massive, especially for people who drive a lot or take frequent road trips. And because a cheap electric car means absolutely nothing if it's not safe, let's talk protection. This vehicle achieved 5-star ratings in Chinese safety testing and is designed to meet European and American standards as well. 9 airbags come standard, including some really advanced dual-chamber side airbags and full curtain airbags. The active safety suite includes more than 15 different functions. Lane keeping assistance, highway driving assistance, automatic parking, obstacle detection, and avoidance. The system uses AI-grade hardware to offer supervised autonomous driving in specific conditions. Remember that high-strength steel and aluminum structure we talked about earlier? That provides excellent rigidity and crash protection. This isn't some flimsy economy box. The company is putting serious safety tech into what's essentially their budget offering. That's a statement of intent. They're not cutting corners on the things that actually matter. If you're going to trust any vehicle with your family's safety, it needs to earn that trust through engineering, not just marketing. All right. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. The number that's making automotive executives around the world extremely nervous. When this car launched in China this past April, the initial pricing with the battery included was just under 120,000 yuan for the base version. That's about 16,700 US dollars. The higher trim came in at around 126,000 yuan, roughly $17,500. But wait, because here's where your brain might actually short-circuit. With the battery rental option, that upfront cost drops by 40,000 yuan. That's about $5,600 less, which means you can drive this thing home for as little as 79,800 yen. That converts to approximately 11,100 US dollars. $11,000 for a car with a premium interior, advanced safety features, a 14-speaker sound system, and battery swap capability. Let that sink in for a second. 11 grand. That's used car territory. That's less than many people spend on a decent motorcycle. And you're getting a brand new electric vehicle with technology that rivals cars costing 3 times as much. Yes, you pay a small monthly fee for the battery rental, around 300 yuan or about $56 per month. But even with that ongoing cost, you're still coming out way ahead compared to buying a traditional new car. Let me put this in perspective. A brand new Toyota Corolla in the United States costs mid-20s, $25,000 or more depending on the trim. A fully loaded Mini Cooper? You're easily looking at 30,000 plus. Basic electric vehicles with similar technology? 25 to 35,000 minimum. This car, even with import costs and regulatory expenses added in, would probably land in Western markets somewhere in the low to mid-20s. And at that price, you'd still be getting features and technology that most competitors in that range simply don't offer. But hold on. I know what you're thinking. This sounds too good to be true. There have to be catches. And you're right. There are definitely some things we need to talk about. First off, there have been some launch delays. The European rollout hit some snags and got pushed back. Turns out building sales networks and service infrastructure from scratch in foreign markets is harder than it looks. The right-hand drive version for markets like the UK isn't expected until later this year at the earliest. Then there's the tariff situation. The European Commission slapped hefty tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles, over 20% in some cases. That could seriously eat into the price advantage this car enjoys in its home market. Suddenly, that $25,000 price tag might creep closer to $30,000, which changes the value proposition somewhat. The battery swap technology, while brilliant in theory, faces practical limitations. Those swap stations aren't everywhere yet. If your road trip doesn't happen to pass by one, you're stuck relying on regular fast chargers like everyone else. Some reports suggest early models might not even be compatible with older swap stations from the same company, which means more infrastructure upgrades need to happen before this becomes truly seamless. Range claims are another consideration. The advertised 420 kilometers is based on idealized testing conditions. In the real world, driving on the highway at higher speeds, running the air conditioning in summer or the heater in winter, you're probably looking at 250 to 300 kilometers maximum. And like any electric vehicle, charging speeds and battery capacity will degrade slightly over time. Brand reliability and service networks are legitimate concerns too. This manufacturer is well established in China, but outside of that market, they're still building up their presence. Parts availability, software updates, maintenance networks. These all need to mature, especially across Europe and North America. The long-term durability of those massive touchscreens and smart features in extreme climates is still somewhat unknown. And finally, there's the trust factor. In markets like the United States, the phrase cheap Chinese car still carries negative connotations for many buyers. Convincing people to trust an $11,000 to $17,000 electric vehicle with their family's safety won't be easy, regardless of the specifications on paper. Insurance costs, resale values, long-term reliability data. These are all question marks that will take years to answer definitively. So yeah, for all its impressive technology and jaw-dropping price, this vehicle still has some mountains to climb before it can truly dominate global markets. But here's the question I really want to ask you. Would you personally trust an electric vehicle at this price point, with all this advanced technology and bold promises, to carry your family safely every day? Or would you wait for the established brands you already know, even if it costs you significantly more? What does your gut tell you? Because this is the fascinating part. This isn't just about one car. It's about a fundamental shift happening in the automotive industry. Companies that we've never heard of are suddenly producing vehicles that challenge our assumptions about quality, price, and value. The old rules about what things should cost are being rewritten in real time. So I want to hear from you in the comments. Be completely honest. If this vehicle showed up in your city tomorrow with a $25,000 price tag, would you seriously consider buying one? Or would you spend more money on something from a brand you trust? What would it take to convince you to take a chance on something new and different? This is the fun part of these conversations. There's no right answer. Some of you will say absolutely, sign me up right now. Others will say no way, I'm waiting to see how these hold up over 5 or 10 years first. Both positions are completely valid. I just want to know where you stand. Drop your thoughts below. Don't hold back. Tell me if this is a future game changer or just another flash in the pan. And if you found this deep dive interesting, do me a favor and smash that like button. It genuinely helps me justify spending hours researching obscure automotive topics instead of, doing normal people things. And if you want more content breaking down the latest developments in electric vehicles and automotive technology, hit that subscribe button. Because trust me, things are only going to get more interesting from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.